What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony, Lorrie, and Mike. And we are discussing every and anything today. We were originally going to discuss the first episode of season 2 of Loki. And then as we started talking, we just decided that with only 2 more episodes left, we're going to wait and just discuss the Loki season 2 as a whole. So we're just going to sit here and chat and catch up with each other and just talk some random nerd stuff. So how's everyone doing? Lorrie, let's start with you because we don't get a chance to talk to you as much because you ain't in Atlanta. But anyway.
Sorry. I'm doing good. Everything's been fine on my end. We had a teeny, tiny little earthquake the other day that was like 28 miles away, and my bookshelf shook for about 30 seconds. But other than
that's
that,
not teeny tiny. If something in your house shakes, that's not teeny tiny.
it is if you live right next to San Francisco. It is.
When the ground,
you need to come to Atlanta because we don't have those problems.
When the ground moves,
that's not teeny tiny.
The ground technically was just the bookshelves.
That's not teeny tiny.
Mark was like, because he's a prepper. He's like, okay, grab your go bag. I'm like, it's not that serious, but grab the go bag. No, it's not that serious.
When 2,000 square miles moves 3 or 4 centimeters, that's not a tiny move.
Yeah.
Fine. What did it register on the Richter scale?
3.8. So it was a baby.
What?
It was a baby.
Oh my God.
It's only 28 miles away.
That reminds me of Jasmine in Independence Day. She was like, that wasn't even a 5-pointer. Go back to bed.
Exactly. It was nothing. Yeah, like I said, my husband's like, grab the go bag. I'm like, first of all, I'm concerned the fact that we have go bags. That's the first problem.
Y'all California people kill me. I would never want to live anywhere where the ground moves like that. I don't care
on
if
a consistent basis.
1.0, I'm not here for it. I'm really not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we had earthquake here. It was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think so. But some people felt it, some people didn't.
I don't want none of that. No.
Well, do you remember years ago when it was the Loma Prieta earthquake back in the early 90s, and they were showing on the news in San Jose where a car went down through the bypass and fell like 100 feet? Well, I was watching the game with my grandfather, and I told him, I go, you know what? I said, I'd be insane. Anyone would be crazy to move to San Jose. What'd I do 3 months later? I moved to San Jose.
Man, no.
But other than that, I've been catching up on a few different things. I've been watching the animated stuff on Disney. I finished Wolverine to X-Men, which I had never seen before. That came out in the early 2000s. I have to say it was absolutely excellent. Loved every episode. I have been deep diving. I'm on the last season of Avengers Assemble, the cartoon that ended in 2018. The first 4 seasons, I mean, when I say they went deep, they did Secret Wars, okay? They did Battle World with the Beyonder. I mean, it was excellent stuff. Last season, which I'm on now, they changed the animation style to more of like anime type style. And the entire focus is Black Panther and a quest to save Wakanda from like interlopers and spies. Not my favorite thing, but I have to say overall, Avengers Assemble, really, really good. I like anime. I like animation more and more as I get older. So I'm doing that. The next thing I'm going to be doing is Harley Quinn, which I haven't seen yet, the new season. Okay. And then I think after that, I'm going to go back and watch Invincible. So I've been doing a lot of animation TV watching. As far as real TV, I started watching Vampire Diaries in the middle of season 7. I am
Wait, you're on season 7?
Yep. Started a rewatch. Well, I'm listening to a podcast that does episode week by week, and they just finished season 6. They just started season 7, but I went back and I listened to all their episodes because at work I have nothing else to do, listen to podcasts. Right. So I started watching. They were in the middle. I started them in the middle of season 2, so I on and off. So over the last 2 months, I've watched all the way up I'm in the middle of season 7. So yeah, it's really easy to do. The other thing that I've been doing is that I've been dipping my toe into watching a little bit of John Wick. Finally saw the first movie. I know, good for me.
Look, I can't
Um,
talk because I just watched all 4 of them like this year.
yeah.
But no, I watched the first one, I think during the pandemic.
hmm
And then I realized when I rewatched them this year, I was like, wait, I've seen this one. That was the second one. And then the third one, I was like, I saw like the first 10 minutes of it. And then I guess I stopped watching it. Something may have happened. But yeah, I was like, it took me so long to get around to those movies. And it was just because I didn't have the time. But yeah, I'm so glad you finally got a chance
Yes.
to see them.
So
I have 2, 3, and 4 on deck, and I'll get to those eventually. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've been doing.
you need to hurry up and watch that so you can watch the Continental. The Continental is so good.
That I
I
need to
want to
watch.
watch that. Yeah.
Now,
It's
is
so
it good? Because I've heard like mixed reviews. I've heard some people
It's mixed reviews,
who have
everything.
said
Okay, take it
like,
with a grain of salt. If you know what I
There's
know what
mixed
kind of stuff
reviews
I
for
like.
everything.
Everything gets mixed reviews.
It's like saying there's a 50% chance of rain. It's either gonna rain or it's not.
Rain or it's not gonna rain. So yeah, 50% sure. I
right?
liked it. I like the way they're developing it. I mean, it's a 3-part miniseries, so it's like,
Okay.
you know, I think it's actually pretty good.
How long are the episodes?
Like 45, like close to an hour. It's not bad.
So it's basically a movie split into 3 parts. That's what they did.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But it's good. It's really good though. Um, yeah.
I'm gonna get around to it. There's been so much that we've been doing lately that I've been having to pick and choose, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It's not gonna
So
take
much
me 5
stuff.
years, but
So
it's
much stuff. I mean, it's like we're like deep in cons right now.
yes, we are. We did what we did Dragon Con at the beginning of September. We just finished Monsterama this past weekend, which is a retro
Monsterama Con.
Monsterama Con. But that's a retro horror convention here in Atlanta. We just did that for the first year. Did a few panels. It was fun. It's a very small con. And we had this conversation a couple of days ago. I'm starting to I really like the smaller cons now. Like of course Dragon Con is like that's
Yeah, I mean,
gonna
Dragon Con's Dragon Con, yeah.
it is.
But smaller cons are cool because it's like every year you go, you basically see like you see some you develop really cool friendships on that through those cons. It's like you'll see almost the same people like every year, and you have something in common with them. So it's like it's really cool, and you're not elbow to elbow with people, and like you're being jostled and not being able to walk anywhere. It's like
Mhm.
it's really cool.
Yeah, so that was fun. This was Anthony's first year as well as assistant director for the media track for Monsterama. How was that?
Yay. Exhausting.
You did an
To
outstanding
say
job,
the
sir.
least.
I can imagine, but
Um,
you did a great job in the panels that we were on that you moderated. Great job.
yeah, I learned a lot about the operation of a track.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not the same thing as being on panels, but when you're in the room the whole day and making sure everything runs smoothly, making sure there's a moderator, not leaving people up there stranded by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
which, that happened a couple of times. And, one thing I did learn is you basically have to look at all of the panels that are going to be in there,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to know something about every one of them, because either you're going to have to moderate it or you're going to have to fill in for somebody, but you're going to have to more work.
I was gonna say because it's hard
More
enough
work.
just trying to keep up with the things that we voluntarily do panels on, and this
Yeah.
is stuff that we watch. But
Yeah, I jumped on. I love the X-Files, but I jumped on a panel with Gary about X-Files,
yeah.
and I wasn't ready for it. But I didn't want him to be up there by himself.
But you did a great job because
Yeah.
I came in halfway through that.
Yeah, and I also jumped on the Twilight Zone panel.
Okay.
Same thing. It's just I realize now that I have to make sure that I'm somewhat prepared to be on panels, and that it sounds like even more work.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it though. It was fun.
Okay. Lorrie, going back to what you were saying, you were talking about how you're getting more into anime. I have to ask, have you started on or been interested in checking out Castlevania?
That's on my list.
Okay, because
that is on my list. Yes, it looks good. It looks good. But they also had Dragon Age Reborn, which is on Netflix. I'm finding that Netflix has excellent anime that catches my attention. Back in the day, Sailor Moon, a little bit of Pokemon, Voltron.
right.
Of course, everyone knows my deep love for anything Power Rangers,
Mhm.
but that's live action. So I don't quite have a good education of it. So I go to Netflix and I'll scroll, and if it says see some similar to, and I'll pick it up. But no, Castlevania is on my list. There is another one on there that's Dragon something or another. I forget what it is, but it's really long episodes. They're like almost an hour long each, and there's like 4 episodes, and it's two sisters, they're thieves. And
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm dipping my toe because I get up so early and go to work so early and get home, and I'm trying to consciously work out every day. I don't have a whole lot of time because I find myself prepping for the next day, and by that time it's time to go to bed. So anything that I can watch and not think about is sort of what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
If you have you watched Yasuke?
No, not yet.
That's another one on my list.
That's the black samurai.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like anime is cool, but it's like there's so much. There's so much. And it's like I didn't think, I thought there was like, okay, there's probably like 10 or 15 times. Like there's hundreds. And it's like my nephews are into it. It's like they go to MomoCon, and like there was an anime con the weekend that we went to, Monsterama Con. It's like they were there
in Atlanta.
Was it?
Yeah, they went there.
Okacon Con or something like that.
Anime weekend
Atlanta.
Yeah, it's like they went to
there's
that.
one in New York that's similar. One Piece is another one, not the live action, but the anime. I want to get into One Piece.
I started the first episode, and I was like, wait a second, I'm not prepared because
it's like literally
45,000 seasons.
Yeah,
literally.
No, I'm not ready for this yet. Yeah.
It's like because it's like a lot of animes, by the time they get to USA, they're already like 5 seasons and 100 episodes deep. So by the time we get it, they're like, okay, well now we're getting down towards the end of like closing it out, because we've been making this for like 30 years. We're like, but I just got it. And it's like
it's one of the reasons why I haven't had a chance to like really keep up with Dragon Ball. Like I watched Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and one of the other early ones. Like my ex-husband was really into Dragon Ball. So when the kids were like babies, we would sit there and watch it. And I just found out that they're coming out with a new Dragon Ball series, and I was like,
oh wow,
I don't have the time. Like I don't have the time in my day, but I really want to get caught up with the Dragon Ball series and watch that. And then One Piece is another one that's been on my list. And it's so funny because I still have a group chat with the members from Sci-Fi Party Line, and Eric started One Piece. I believe he watched the Netflix series first, and then he started on the anime, and he is like so obsessed now. And I was like, I don't have time.
I can see that.
Schedule.
Now, segue. Did you see the pictures? I think it was 2 weeks ago of the live action Avatar with Daniel Day Kim and the rest of them.
I did.
Yeah.
I saw a few of them, but I'm really trying to stay away from promotional material for that one, because when the original live action movie that was based on that was based on Avatar came out, I was the only person in my family who didn't have a problem with it because at that time I had not watched the anime.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't have a problem with it. And like, we're in a movie theater, it's completely crowded. It's myself, my ex, and our 3 kids, and we're all scattered around the theater. And my ex and my kids are looking at each other like through the theater, like showing each other glances, and they're like, "Oh my God, that was horrible." I'm like, "What was wrong with it? It was fine." Then during the pandemic, I finally sat down and watched the animated series, and I was like, "That's not
Okay, Hanako, you for the most part, I know I'm the most critical person here, but you for the most part can tell
no.
really good stuff and bad stuff. Even had you not watched the series, you could watch that movie and be like, that's just terrible.
Well, okay, so it wasn't the best, but I didn't have
okay.
visceral reaction.
No.
That's good. You said it wasn't the best.
It
Okay.
wasn't.
Yeah, it
so
was
for okay, I'll put it like this: The Last Airbender was here, and Dragon Ball Evolution was way down here.
Oh, Dragon Ball Evolution.
So Dragon. That's
was
the movie.
okay. If you're gonna compare those two, compare those two, there's not really comparison. I understand.
I hate no.
I
Look,
got
I
you.
hate.
I got you.
Listen, I hate myself for watching Dragon Ball Evolution. I was like, do you know what you could have done with all that time you spent watching that bullshit? You could have been improving your life. Instead, you watched that shit.
Have not watched
I'm still mad at myself about that.
Well, look, that needs to be one of those movies that we hate watch and do a show about it. Because oh my God,
that means I gotta watch it again because I don't remember shit about it. I don't want to watch that shit again.
Horrible.
God no.
Horrible.
God no.
I don't know enough about Dragon Ball Z to offer an opinion. It's just
you don't have to. You don't have to. Just know that this Japanese anime is full of white people starring in the roles. That's all you need to know.
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean,
it gets worse.
It gets worse. That's not even the worst part of it.
The biggest problem with the Avatar movie is the fact that yes, it didn't follow the story. My biggest thing is it didn't look good. When we got to that one scene where they were showing the earthbenders and they were doing a little march thing where they were coming up and fighting, that was like the best scene in the movie because it looked like what we expected. When I watch movies like superhero movies, I expect to see Spider-Man move a certain way. I want to see like the one where Black Panther first showed up. When he was doing the flips and all that, that was from the cartoon. I mean the comic book. So when I watch a movie and I see that it is horribly done and the costumes are bad and the dialogue is bad, and obviously, I mean, the director M. Night Shyamalan said that he made the movie because his daughters were fans, and I'm like, but did you see the source material? Did you care about the source material?
Right.
Did you even see the source material? I mean, it was bad.
Right.
I mean, we had a discussion with this about Secret Invasion. It's like the guy that what's his name? The guy that directed it didn't read the source material, didn't care about the source material. He was like, I don't even need to read it because I'm directing this. Like Salim, it's like, bruh. First of all, his name is just Miles backwards. He ain't fooling nobody. He ain't.
You know what?
I'm not fucking with it. No, because he ruined a show that could have been great.
I know.
And he ruined it.
I know.
But Dragon Ball Evolution is available on Hulu.
I'm not even
wasting
my subscription. I'm not even wasting my subscription watching that shit.
That really does need to be one of those like bad movies that we talk about because there are quite a few out there that could, that could fall into that. But yeah.
Back to Monsterama, and not as assistant track director, but just as a person having to watch the prep for the con. I had to watch Sharknado, Atlantis Milo's Return, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which actually, guys, okay, the movie was made in 1953.
Okay.
Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Watch it.
Why does that sound familiar?
It is a fascinating movie. It's stop motion monster, Ray Harryhausen, so it's well done.
Okay.
And it's actually the movie that inspired Godzilla.
Okay.
So it is a very fascinating film to watch.
Okay.
And all the Pet Cemeteries, having to watch those again,
I'm
because that
sorry.
was a
That
great
was my
discussion.
suggestion.
That was a great suggestion.
But what was the other thing that we thought about that we were going to talk about instead? Oh, Fall
The
of the
Fall
House
of the House
of
of
Usher.
Usher. Okay,
Which,
can we go ahead and talk about this?
yes.
Okay. All right. Has everyone seen The
wait,
Fall of the House of Usher?
I haven't seen it yet,
Oh,
but it's like, I mean, it's the book, so it's like,
no, it's not.
No,
This is not the book.
it's so
okay,
it
I
is,
know it's not,
but
but
it's not.
does the story like following the same lines?
No,
No.
no. I
You
mean, the
so
beginning and the end. Everything in the
Okay,
middle, no.
like it takes so basically the Fall of the House of Usher is a modernized retelling, and it's about this family called the Ushers and the fall of this family, and it takes different stories of Poe's or different poems of his, and each episode is named after one of those, and then it kind of follows loosely
Yeah,
what happens in the stories. But I mean, so in a sense, you can kind of sort of predict what's going to happen. Like, okay, it's a show about the fall of the House of Usher. You already know everybody is about to die in this show, but it's the story of how they get there that is
yeah.
just like, there are some parts of it where you're looking at it like, oh my God.
It's almost like they took the title, but the show is really everything is inspired by all of Edgar Allan Poe's works.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just The Fall of the House of Usher, it's everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like characters from short stories, the poems, his book,
Right.
everything it was inspired. So no, it's just not. If you read The Fall of the House of Usher, this is not the short story The Fall of the House of Usher.
Right.
okay,
It is something that has been inspired by all of his works.
Yeah. So
all right,
like
I got you.
like there are 8 episodes. So the episode titles are A Midnight Dreary, The Mask of the Red Death, Murder in the Rue Morgue, The Black Cat, The Telltale Heart, Goldbug, The Pit and the Pendulum, and then The Raven.
Did someone lose their eye in the Black Cat episode?
You got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. No spoilers.
Okay, fine.
No spoilers. You got to watch it.
Yeah,
It's
because
amazing. Everything they did with the show, like even from that, because I was a Leonardo DiCaprio meme every episode. I'm like,
yes.
every 5 minutes because I love Poe, and so
Right.
it's like every line was like from something Edgar Allan Poe. Everything, it's amazing.
It
The
is.
cast was amazing. The diversity of the cast was amazing. Like that was never an issue in the show. Like, all the kids are his kids, regardless of their race, and it's
Yeah.
not even an issue. It's not even
Mhm.
talked about.
Yeah.
You know,
It
it,
was
it,
just it was
it
it
was
was
amazing.
so good.
Yeah, it's
So
really good.
good. Like I'm almost mad that CONjuration is so close, because I would oh wait, actually no, I didn't. But I was going to say, cuz I would have totally submitted a panel so that we could talk about that, because it's so good. You got to watch it, Mike. And I know Lori stepped away from her for her computer for a minute, so we'll find out. I don't think she's
I
watched
don't
it,
think she's seen it either.
but yes, that is definitely one that I was like, okay, I think the day that it came out, I can't even remember. Oh, no, I was dealing with some other stuff. I was dealing with some personal stuff. So, for those of you who have watched our videos before and you see my cats kind of going on camera and kind of showing themselves, I lost my cat Padfoot a couple of weeks ago. And so that was actually the day that the Fall of the House of Usher came out, was actually the same day that I had to put him down. So I kind of waited before I watched it. But then I think it was that Sunday, I finally sat down. I was like, okay, let me just watch it. And I got until about episode 5. And I was so sleepy and I had to go to work the next day. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to wait and watch it. But I was like, I would never do that again. Not with one of Mike Flanagan's shows, because you just want to sit there and just binge. And Lorrie just came back. So Lorrie, have you had a chance to watch The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix yet?
No, but I am very, very intrigued by it because it looks really, really good.
It is. It's really, really good.
It is. You have to watch it.
Really
it's on my list.
It's so good. So
estimate watch time probably sometime next October.
Oh no, put that at the top of the list. Put that at the top of the list.
Yeah, you need to put that at the top of the list.
Okay, all right.
Put it at the top of the list.
I
you
will
should be
that.
watching it tomorrow.
Well, like I said, I got Thanksgiving vacation. I've got almost 2 weeks during Christmas shutdown, so I have plenty of time to watch. I've got all of the Netflix stuff. Like I said, I watched 5 minutes of the new season of The Witcher, but no, the thing with The Fall of House of Usher is that the visuals look good. Now, I'm not sure who Mike Flanagan is, but from what I understand, he's a heck of a director or writer, whatever he is. But it just visually, it looks good. It's got a lot of my favorite actors in it. It's got that one guy from iZombie in it.
Yep, Raul Coley.
Yeah, it just looks good.
Yeah,
and if you what is The Haunting of Hill House?
The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor,
amazing, and
the Midnight Club, Midnight Mass. Stephen King adaptation.
Look, just because I did one con about monsters and horror stuff doesn't mean y'all can start throwing horror shit at me. I gotta ease into this shit, okay? I gotta ease into this. No, goddamn.
Okay, so we had this conversation because I told you horror is not my wheelhouse, but then when we started talking about stuff, Anthony was like, "You actually know more horror than you think you did," which, I was like, yeah, I guess I know, do, but it was like,
oh, look, of course I do. I was young and dumb. Of course I know about horror.
Okay,
it's like,
so that's the thing, because I got into Stephen King when I was like 16, 17 years old. I think like the first book of his that I read was It. And then it was The Stand. Then it was Rose Matter. And then so I got into his stuff.
I think I read The Dead Zone when I was 12.
Which one?
The Dead Zone.
Oh, okay.
So my mom had it.
So
that TV series does not get enough credit. It was excellent.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Anthony Michael Hall did a good job on that.
And you know what? I don't think I finished watching that series. Like, I started, and it was right around that time when I had the kids, and I just wasn't getting into a lot of horror type stuff. But it's so funny because I was into it when I was younger, and then as I got older, there were certain things I couldn't watch because of my overactive imagination. Like, I would literally read something from Stephen King and then go to bed at night and literally like, I would have a mini movie playing in my head. And if you know a lot of Stephen King stuff, that might not be a good thing to do when you're trying to sleep. So I got away from horror for a long time. Like, I have a whole shelf of his books, and I don't think I've read half of them because I got to a point where I just couldn't do it. So I stopped for a while, and then I started back just kind of watching things here and there. And then Supernatural really kind of was my gateway back into it. But even now, it's like there are certain things I can watch and certain things I can't. I only watched The Haunting of Hill House because so many people were talking about it. And then my daughter was like, "No, Mom, you would appreciate this. You have to watch it." And when I watched it, I was like, "Oh my God, this is one of the best things I've ever seen."
And it's so interesting that you were like that. And like, technically, all the Walking Dead shit is horror.
Yes, but see, it also took me a while to get into that.
Shit is horror.
But you got to think about what kind of vampire stuff I watched. Like, at the time, Twilight, Vampire Diaries, True Blood, like that stuff is horror
comedy.
Yes, that's the thing. It's horror comedy. Vampire Diaries is horror and teen shit. So it wasn't like it was super scary,
Supernatural horror.
Yeah.
but not
But,
super
but
scary.
it's
I mean,
Vincent Ackles and Jared Padalecki, so I kind of, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan at the time, so I kind of like, oh, okay, I could do that. But I mean, that was one of the things that appealed to me about Supernatural, because when I started watching it, it was premiere, the second season premiere was about to come on, and I just happened to be seeing commercials for it, and I was like, what is this show? I've never heard of this show before. And I don't even remember. I think I had to go to, I don't remember how I was able to watch the first season. I think either I rented it from Blockbuster, or, and I am very much aging myself, I either rented it from Blockbuster or it might have been, I don't remember. And I binge watched that first season, and I was like, how have I not heard of this show before? Because it's almost like it very much gave me like Stephen King type vibes at the time. So that was kind of what started getting me back into it. Now there's certain things I still can't, like I can't watch slasher flicks. I don't do the what is it, slasher porn, or what they call,
the
yeah,
torture porn.
I can't do stuff like that. I have a hard time watching horror that has a basis in reality. So you will never get me watching The Exorcist. You will never get.
That's like Michelle. So one of the panels we did was an Exorcist panel, the religion
and horror.
Yeah.
And I was watching The Exorcist with Michelle, and I said, you know, this is based on a true story. She goes, why would you have to tell me that? Why did you have to tell me that?
I don't do it. If there was something that happened in real life that this movie was based, no, I'm not doing it.
Like The Conjuring, because
no.
at the end of those movies where they show like the clips and play the tapes from when they actually
absolutely not
people,
absolutely not.
The movie isn't scary. That shit is scary.
No, absolutely not.
Years ago, I had
horror. No. No.
Years ago, I had a pretty good little deal with one of the blogs that I was working for, and I would get screeners for Disney movies, and I was doing cute stuff like the Cheetah Girls. They were sending me Power Rangers, and then he says, "I've got a really good deal for you." He says, not only if they will give you the free screeners to keep, but if you watch a review, you can keep the movies and they'll pay you like $20. I said, okay. You know what he had signed me up for?
What?
Korean horror movies. I turned it down so fast, it wasn't even funny.
Now, I've only seen one Korean horror.
That's enough.
And that was Train to Busan. And I loved it. Loved it.
Isn't Parasite considered a horror?
I haven't seen that one yet. I'm like scared to watch it.
It is very, very good.
I know.
I didn't know anything about Korean horror, so I did like a little bit of a deep dive because Ken Young used to have a sitcom. I forget what the name of it was, where he played a doctor. And one episode they did
Dr. Ken, I think was the name of,
And one episode they did a very, very traditional Halloween episode, and they delved into one of the Korean ghosts that is like a fairy or folk tale, and just that alone scared me so much that I will never watch any Korean horror, because just that episode freaked me out so much. I was like, okay, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, no. See, my daughter loves that shit. She like The Ring. Like anytime she's watching The Ring and I walk in the room, I turn around and I come back upstairs. I'm like, no,
the host is also really, really good. And I'm not into horror either. So
I'm trying to think. The Host. I haven't heard of that one. But yeah, I can't like. The funny thing is, I was on this religion and horror panel with Anthony, and I was like, I don't know if I would if I have anything to contribute. One, because I am, as y'all know, I'm not a religious person. He was like, no, that's exactly why I want you on this panel. But they were talking about The Exorcist, and I was like, nope. I was like, let me put this disclaimer out here. I've not seen The Exorcist. Don't plan to watch The Exorcist. Like, I remember, and I'm gonna tell you what it was that started that. I remember being a young girl. I had to have been like maybe 7 years old. We're visiting my grandmother in Alabama, and I'm laying on the couch trying to take a nap, and Poltergeist is on the TV. And it's the part where, and I don't even know if this is something that actually happens in the movie, but there's a part where the little girl is sitting in front of the TV and like some tree branches come out of the screen and they grab her.
That's when the little boy is in bed. When he's counting the thunders, he's like,
I don't know what the fuck happened. I just know I saw that. I was like, nope.
Nope.
The tree reached in, grabbed him, and ate the little boy. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that, and I was like, nope. And it had to have been around Halloween time or something, because all of the horror movies that I remember that freaked me out, I remember being at her house watching them. So I don't know if somebody was watching a marathon or whatever. Now, this is back on the old TVs, Channel 36, Channel 46. They used to show those movies all the time. So I remember Poltergeist, that particular scene. I remember seeing Johnny Depp being sucked into the bed and then spit out in a bloody geyser. I remember that. And there was something else, something having to do with one of the Halloween movies. And I was like, no, I can't do it.
Have we talked about Poltergeist before? Because that's what I talked about. It's like that part didn't really get me. Like that one, it was a little scary. But the part that always gets me is the part where the guy is like raiding their refrigerator and the steak starts moving.
Oh, when it was creeping across the.
Yeah. Oh hell no, absolutely not.
Yeah, and then he spit the chicken out, and the chicken had maggots on it. Then he spit it. Then it's like he started scratching his face in the mirror.
He scratched it off.
Scratched his skin off, and I was like,
no,
that freak.
No. The part that got me was the freaking clown doll in the boys' room. Yeah, no.
Mike,
I don't do
Mike,
ma'am.
I'm eating chicken and rice soup. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. See, I couldn't tell. It's like
that's what happens when you can't turn your camera on.
That's not.
About the chicken in there swimming with little pieces of rice. Like,
oh my god!
Sorry.
I literally.
I'm so sorry, Lorrie. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But then here's the crazy thing. So I can't watch any, and I think it just has to do with the fact that those were movies that traumatized me in my childhood. So like even as an adult, I won't even try. Like I've thought about trying to do like the Halloween movies. I think I did go back once a few years ago and watched the first Nightmare on Elm Street all the way through, and I was like, I can't fuck with Freddy. I can't. But then I can watch stuff like the TV show Salem that came out some years back. I absolutely love that show. But if you watch that show is creepy as fuck.
There's only one movie, really. Like I don't really care for horror, but I'll watch it and I'm entertained by it. But there's only one movie that to this day,
your definition of entertained does not match mine.
There's one movie, and that is the original Children of the Corn. That
you
movie,
mentioned that this weekend.
That movie freaks me out.
I've never seen that one.
That's a scary movie. But you know what was also actually really scary? Sleepy Hollow.
Yes.
Sleepy Hollow was
Johnny Depp
very
movie?
much. No, I'm talking about the TV series with Nicole Beharie.
Okay.
Oh,
that show was excellent, but man, that was literally straight up horror.
It was, but I loved.
Every minute
until they fucked over Nicole.
Yeah.
First season, second season, and third season, I was like, y'all just fucked the whole show up.
I made it to the end of the third season, didn't make it to the fourth. But I'm telling you, as far as pure horror elements, from the credits to the storyline to Ichabod Crane it was scary.
But Salem was worse.
Salem was worse. I will.
Salem was worse.
Those
that episode where they had the little doll that was just like.
Yep.
No, it's Children of the Corn for me, and I sometimes think. Because I think I told you guys this at the con, I realized that my father was really into horror because there are a lot of Stephen King books on the bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
Like Stephen King and Clive Barker. And I'm like, he must have been into horror. Like we never talked about it or anything. Mm-hmm. But elementary school, middle school, Clive Barker and Stephen King, well, I don't know if Clive Barker was middle school. Maybe that was high school. But I was reading all those books. And did
he know you were reading those books?
The books the bookshelf was in my bedroom. So so I read all these things, and I don't know if it desensitized me, because even like the movies that he had on videotape were basically either horror or kung fu movies.
Okay.
Like that's how I saw Children of the Corn, which
Mm-hmm.
that movie I would not watch that movie even to this day. But like he had Carrie, Dead Zone, like the same movies that were Stephen King movies, all
Mm-hmm.
the Cujo, he had the books for, and
Mm-hmm.
he had the movies. And that's how I found out I don't like zombies. I don't care for zombies, because I did watch Night of the Living Dead
Okay.
as a young child.
Right.
But I don't know if I'm desensitized to horror movies, but I just find them entertaining or not entertaining. Even like The Conjuring, yeah, it creeps me out and it might, make unsettle me a little bit, but nothing scares me as much as Children of the Corn. I can't explain why, but most of the horror movies, yeah, they're fun, they're entertaining.
Okay, so while we're talking about that, there's one. My daughter, like I said, my daughter is the one. She is the horror person in the house. And so every time she watches certain things, like she knows what I can tolerate and what I can't. So most of the stuff she watches, she knows not to even ask me. She'll tell me a little bit about it, and I'll just be like, no. There was one movie she introduced to me a few years ago. And she was like, it's kind of sort of like that old Blair Witch Project movie that y'all had back then. And I was like, okay, whatever. She said, but it's so much better. So she tells me to watch this movie, and we watch it in the dark. And this movie scares the entire fuck out of me. And it's a movie called As Above, So Below. And it's filmed in the French catacombs. And I was just like, Mike's like, no.
No, I think we talked about this last weekend. I was like, no, it's way too easy to get lost in them motherfuckers. Like, nah.
Bruh, that movie freaked me out. But then I turned around, I found the DVD, the Blu-ray DVD in the thrift store, and I bought it. I was like, what am I doing?
You are a glutton for punishment.
Which one, 2014 or 2011?
Wait, there was more than one?
Oh wait, no, this was just 52 minutes. So never mind. It must be
Okay.
2014.
Yeah, watch it. That movie
yes,
was But there was another movie when I was a kid that also kind of made, I guess this is the one that kind of made me on the fence, because it was a creepy movie, but at the same time, I couldn't stop watching it. And I think it was because my dad was watching it. It was an old horror movie, and it was called Happy Birthday to Me. And it was about this girl. She was trying to have, like, she was having a birthday party, and all of the people who were coming to her birthday party started disappearing in the house. And then at the end, I just remember there's this scene with the killer, who I can't remember. I don't remember if she was the killer or somebody else was the killer, but they set up the birthday table with all of the dead bodies around it. I just remember watching that, like, who thinks of this stuff? And again, I'm a kid at this time. It was like, who really writes this stuff? Who is doing this? Who wants to act in a movie like that? Yeah.
That was one of the best things about Monsterama. Like, I have this list of all these horror movies that I need to watch now, and books I need to read. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
No, it's like, because you know how long it took me to start watching American Horror Story. This is like after everyone else was like, this is like when Coven was getting ready to start. I was like, I can't watch it, because I tried once. I got 40 seconds into it, because it's like the little boy went down into the basement and was getting ready to, and he got something happened to him. I was like, nope. I turned that shit off with a quickness. I didn't get 40 seconds into it the first time I tried to watch it. But then as I got into it, I was like, this is just actually really good.
It's good, but that's another show I have not watched. Like, the only season that I've watched probably more than half of was the hotel season that Lady Gaga was in, and that's only because my younger daughter was watching that show. And so if I had to come downstairs and go to the kitchen or whatever, I would kind of see what was going on the TV. And sometimes it would catch my attention to the part where I sit there for a few minutes and then I sat down, and then the story started intriguing me because I was trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And it was because you had the Lady Gaga part of the story, and then you had the hotel part of the story.
Right.
And I was just like, wait, what is this? And I was like, oh, this is so good. But I was like, yeah, I can't.
The first season is really good because we watched the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Second season, did we watch the second season? Asylum? I think we did.
Okay.
We watched the
Coven
third
was
season,
the best. I think,
Coven,
in my opinion, Coven was
which
the best
is
season.
really, really good.
I got
Coven
up
fucking
to the
awesome.
last episode of Coven, and I literally couldn't do it anymore, even though I
Freak
wanted
Show.
to.
Freak Show, I was done. Killer Clowns, no. No,
But it was good though. It was actually
it was
a
good.
really good
Watch
season,
the whole
though.
season, but Killer
It was
Clowns.
good.
Coven
I do
kept
not
me my level.
recommend it.
He was-
I do
he
not
was
recommend
amazing.
it for anybody to watch season 4 of American Horror Story.
Okay.
Well,
No.
how
You
many
don't like
seasons
clowns,
are
yeah.
there? Because it's still going, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they just started a new season. They're actually doing like short story versions now, I think.
Yeah, it's
Isn't
like an anthology or something, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought they were all anthologies.
They're all
I
it's
thought
all
each
anthology.
season.
No,
It is
no.
the
They're talking about
anthology.
not like doing one story through the whole season. It's just
It's
one
like
story.
each episode is a different
Oh,
story.
okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So they're like
Like Twilight
episodic
Zone.
one shots. Okay.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. No, I watched Coven because Gabrielle was it Sabay and Angela Bassett. I
Yeah,
believe
Gabby's
was
in
in
it, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I was intrigued because it was Marie Laveau, and I was like, okay. And then I started watching it, and then they had that thing with the bull, and I was like, what am I watching? And then they had Gabrielle's character with the restaurant, the fast food, and then they put her in Held, and it was the restaurant with the guy and the chicken, and I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm done. I can't. No, and I never went back, even though I was intrigued enough that I was like, I want to finish this season, but that was about as much. I decided that my level of horror is Vampire Diaries True Blood. That's my level. With a little bit of supernatural. That's my level.
Since I mentioned the Killer Clowns, I once again want to plug. I was a guest host or guest on a podcast of Amontillado, which is one of our friends of the show, Gary Mitchell, his podcast. We did a podcast about clowns. And
you did.
Clowns and horror. Is really, really good podcast. So check it out. Podcast with Amontillado. And I also want to talk about Jordan Peele because we did a representation panel at Monsterama, which I'll let you guys know it was very well received. The director of the co-director of the convention came up to me and she said that people had been telling her the next day, all day, they really enjoyed that panel.
Oh, okay,
really,
good.
Really good.
Wait, which one?
The representation
panel.
Oh, good.
Representation in horror.
Okay.
I think we're getting better at this.
Just a little bit. Look, it's as much practice as we're getting, we should be.
Yeah. And we talked about Jordan Peele. I was also on a virtual panel for Monsterama last year where we talked about Jordan Peele. So have all of you seen Jordan Peele's Candyman, his version of Candyman?
No, not yet. That's one of those where it's like I want to, but the original Candyman is still very much in my psyche and it freaks me out. So I don't know.
It is not as good as the original.
Oh, okay.
And this isn't a spoiler, but I just wanted to say it because there's a scene where a character who's black opens the door to a basement and she goes, nope. And she closes the door.
Most realistic portrayal of a black person in a horror film ever.
Yes. She says, nope. And closes the door.
I mean, Keke Palmer did it too. And the actual Nope movie. She was like, nope.
Well, now that's the thing. I haven't seen Nope, but I keep hearing that it's good. And I keep going around Keke Palmer because I think she's an interesting actress. I chose how much I pay attention. I didn't know who she was until the whole thing with the whole Usher thing. So that's how out of touch I am. I'm like, who's Keke Palmer? Look up. Oh, okay. No clue at all.
You need to watch that movie.
Put that like third on your list.
Yes. Yes.
Have you seen The Blackening?
Have not.
No, but I think
Okay.
isn't that new trailers out or something?
It's a newer
Yeah,
movie.
it came out. It came out earlier this year, like a few months ago.
Isn't that the one where all the black people are basically talking about how not to do something so you don't die in the horror film?
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, see, that would be more my type of a movie because I'd be like, okay, here's our maps, here's our holy water. Make sure you got your steaks ready.
Technically, it's a slasher movie, but it is fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
It is funny.
The trailer looks hilarious.
Are funny. It is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like slasher movies, but this one was funny.
Okay. Yeah.
Really funny.
But I think I like it. So if I'm going into a show or a movie and I know it's horror, but it's not, I guess, overtly horror, and it kind of surprises me, I'm a little bit more okay with that. Like, there's an episode that happens in The Sandman, season 1. It's like episode 5, and it takes place in a diner. That, bruh, have you seen it?
Yeah.
That episode, The Sandman.
Oh, which episode?
Episode 5, I think. It's the one that takes place in the diner.
Oh my God!
All the batshit crazy stuff.
Yeah, that fucked me up. That fucked me up. I was like, bro.
That freaked me out. I was like, wait, because The Sandman as a series, it has a darker tone to it. So I went into it like, okay, it's dark, but it's not horror. That's what I'm thinking. Then you get to this one episode and everything goes batshit crazy. And it's one of those things. It's like a true mind fuck. And then it's even more of that for me because you have actors that we know from other things that are not as batshit crazy in those things. So like you have David Thewlis from that, that I mostly associate with
Harry Potter,
Professor Lupin, and he is like a psychopath in this particular TV show. And then you also have Daisy Head in this one, who is our Genya from Shadow and Bone, and she wasn't as bad in this one, but her some of the things that her character did was still kind of, it was just one of those things where I was like, how in the fuck did I get to this? Like,
well, if you read the Neil Gaiman stuff, if you read it back in the day in comic book form, I mean, from what I understand, it followed pretty close, and it is pretty dark. I used to occasionally delve into Sandman, but I was more into Poison Elves. If any old school comic book readers, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about Poison Elves. But I again haven't watched it. It's on my list. Gwendolyn Christie is in it. Game of Thrones, Star Wars. But from what I understand, that the casting is phenomenal. The guy that was in American Gods that played the one of the morticians, I think he's in it too, right? Yeah. But it looks looks good. It looks like it followed. There was some discussion in comic book worlds about some of the latter episodes and how they were having some issues and how it didn't quite follow the way that it should. But my thing is that I touched on Sandman back in the day. I think I have it somewhere in here on my shelf. But a lot of that Vertigo stuff, a lot of that indie press stuff, Neil Gaiman stuff, I haven't read. I just collected. So I haven't read as much as I should, but from what I have, it's pretty good. I know that Dream is a huge character. I know they changed.
Oh, good in this.
That's what I heard.
So good.
And then I think, was it Despair? One of the girl who's a little bit bigger. I think her name was Despair.
Mm-hmm.
That storyline is really good. And I saw a art clip yesterday where it was the two of them were sitting down having tea, and it was very a cute photo. But yeah, Sandman, again, I keep adding to my list, guys. Come on.
Yeah, well, that one we're gonna add. Matter of fact, I started rewatching episode 1 yesterday because yesterday was Halloween, and I was sitting at home and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to watch. And I watched some things over the weekend, and last week, again, prepping for Monsterama, I watched the original Pet Sematary for the first time, probably in 30 years. And then I watched the 2019 remake. And then I watched The Crow. And then my daughter had me watch I think I watched the first 3 episodes of Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass, which that one, the end of the 3rd episode had a twist that I completely did not see coming. I was not paying attention to it, and I was just like, wait, what? So that's another one to add to your list. But I started going through things trying to figure out what I was in the mood to watch for Halloween, and I wanted to do Underworld. Underworld, the original one, is not streaming anywhere. So then I started trying to do The Walking Dead, because yesterday was the 13th anniversary of the premiere. I wasn't in the mood for that. I tried to do Sandman. I wasn't in the mood for that. So I kind of jumped around to different things, and I was just like, I guess I'm just not in the mood to be scared tonight, which is weird. It was Halloween. But yeah, Sandman is one of those that was really good. And I was not familiar with those stories before the Netflix show came out. And it was just one of those, like, that was one of my favorite shows that came out last year. It was so good.
It's really good. It's really good.
Now, here's something that I actually put the book in my queue. I'm looking at the trailer right now. It's bordering on horror, but it's more of a psychological. It's a fairly new book. It's a series, Black Cake. It's going to be on Hulu. You guys heard of that?
Cake.
I just saw an ad for that earlier tonight, or I saw a promo photo, but I was looking at that like, what in the world is that? Because I had not heard of it. What is that?
Premise is a Caribbean mother dies, and she leaves with instructions with her lawyer that her 2 children go into the freezer, and she left them a traditional Caribbean black cake, and inside the cake is a thumb drive, and in the thumb drive they plug it in, and it tells a little bit of pieces of her story, how she left the Caribbean, why she left the Caribbean, how she made her life. It involves murder, betrayal. I think there's a ghost or 2. There's a lot of psychological stuff. It's, like I said, I have the book in my queue on Audible, but it looks fantastic.
Okay. Okay, I might have to check that one out. Something else that Anthony brought up during Monsterama, he said to not watch the show, but the book is actually one of the first reads for a book club that I've joined, Kindred. So you were saying, don't
Octavia Butler's Kindred, right?
Yes.
Don't watch it.
The show.
No. Read the book.
Read the book. Read the book.
That
and I even
bad.
told someone, because someone had asked me about it, and she was like, well, I want to watch the show. I said, read the book first. Finish the book, then go to the show. But under no circumstances do either at the same time or watch the show first.
Okay, because I was going to say, usually when it's something that's a page-to-screen adaptation, you usually tell people, okay, if you haven't read the book first, then don't read the book, because you'll have more expectation on what the show is supposed to be, and then it'll kind of ruin the experience. So
the show is so terrible, it doesn't matter.
Okay, Jose Luis Farmer is a guy that has written a lot of science fiction. Her writing. Now, I'm going to preference this. I revere Octavia Butler because she was writing science fiction as a Black woman in the 60s, 70s when nobody else did. She is the GOAT. Personal side, I don't like her books, but I give her respect.
Okay.
So I have every single book she has on my bookshelf.
Okay.
I have read some of her stuff. Kindred is one of those metaphysical, deep psychological type of things. Sort of like what is it? The mysticism books that you get out of Latin America sometimes, where the magic realism. And she does a lot in that type of a realm.
Okay.
So Kindred is sort of along the lines of that type of a book. Plus, it's got all the other stuff in it. So when they said they were doing a TV series, I saw it. I saw the trailer and I looked at it and I was like, I'm not even going to watch an episode. Anthony is 100% correct, because when they do that magic realism, and I'm just using it as like a catchphrase of what I'm trying to describe her work as, that stuff is very, very hard to put on the screen and to do it right.
Okay.
And the
each thing is layers to it.
And the thing is, which, like I said, you can watch the show after you read the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're watching the show, and I didn't read the book, but I knew what happened. I know what happens in the book. You're watching the show, and just as it's two different things. Just as a viewer, the show's not done very well at all.
Right.
There's a lot of things that were just wrong with the show. The lead actress, I like to say that they always are under the control of the director. So I don't know if she was given bad direction or bad, I don't think she's a bad actress. I don't think anyone in the show is a bad actress, because Ryan, is it Stackhouse from True Blood?
Oh, okay. Ryan
He's
Kwanson.
in it. He is amazing.
Okay.
He's really good.
Okay.
He's the best thing in the show.
Wow.
Everything else, the acting is not great. It's just not good. And
I'm sorry, I love that. Wow.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's just so much wrong with it. I could go into it. They didn't do her story justice, and I'm gonna get on my soapbox. And a lot of it has to do with, I really think that this is a show where you can see that the showrunner and the writers think they know how to do it better than she did.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the fact that they were married in the book, so I'm gonna make it a one-night stand and they get stuck together.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the fact that they were married gives you that they had history. That everything that happens to them has more meaning and more feeling and more depth.
Yeah, because I'm only like 2 chapters in the book.
Yeah, but here you don't get that.
Okay.
So why did y'all think that was a better decision?
You
know what I mean? So there's things like that you're watching, like, why did y'all make these choices? Oh, your ego. Because you wanted to do it differently. Because you wanted, I could tell this story better.
Okay.
Or I can make it better for the viewer. No, we talk about this all the time. The person who wrote the book gave you the blueprint. The person who wrote the best-selling Pulitzer Prize winning book told you the story. What people loved. This is what the critics like. Why do you change the whole thing?
And this is what the fans like. Like, this is the whole reason why you are even like, because if the story didn't have any fans or people who loved it, you wouldn't even bother optioning it. And wasn't this a FX channel show?
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
FX. Yeah.
Okay.
It was FX.
But see here. Okay. See, I'm gonna jump on that.
I had told someone at the convention, I wasn't even gonna tell her where it was. Like, I'm not gonna tell you.
I remember. Yes, you did.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Lori's about to jump. She's about to co-op your soapbox.
Oh, go ahead.
There's 2 things. One is, I'm not gonna spoil. If I get there, check me. One, what they did to Kindred is the same thing they did in Game of Thrones. When a certain member of a certain family should have been a certain way, and they didn't do it because they didn't want to, and they didn't think it was important to the story.
Okay, look, which part of are we talking about? Jon Snow?
We're talking about Catelyn Stark.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, see, that would have made the show 100 times better. It was already a phenomenal show. Second.
Oh, you're talking about Lady Greyheart.
Right? Yes. Lady Stoneheart.
Yes. I was so mad. Oh, you have no idea. I mean, anyway. Second thing. Now, I just canceled, and I probably will get back in because I got so upset with it. Silo, which is Wool or Dust or Shift, the book series that was on Apple TV.
You mentioned that
the one where that first episode, Rashida Jones, I forget the name of the guy who played the sheriff, but that first episode makes you want to watch the entire show in one sitting. Okay. Premise is, there is I'm in the middle of reading the books. Okay.
Okay.
The premise is that it's somewhere in the future. There's been a apocalyptic event, or so they told, and everyone that is left on Earth lives in what they think is the only silo. Okay, and it's several floors deep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the higher you are in the silo level, the higher your station. So all the grunts, the poor people, the factory workers, middle, farmers, middle, coal miners, mechanics, bottom, prisoners, bottom. Okay. You have a sheriff whose wife, who is in the IT department, discovers something. She gets upset and she says the magic words, "I want to go outside." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When they say that, they have to let them outside. Outside is poisonous. They do something, they make the people give them a piece of wool and they give them some cleaner. And when they go outside, they say, "Can you clean the window?" Because it's so quote unquote toxic, they can't go outside. So whenever they send them outside, they ask them to clean the window so they can see the surrounding world. Okay. So Rashida Jones, phenomenal job. She says, "I want to go outside." She cleans it. She finds out what happened. She dies. Her husband, a little bit later, does the same thing. Premise. Here's the kicker. The atmosphere is not poison. There's other silos. They lied. It was a government conspiracy. Okay. It was one guy, a senator who wanted to control the world, and he facilitated a nuclear thing that lasted for about 50 years, but they cryogenically freeze people and refreeze and wake them up when situations happen, so that if they find out that someone else is alive and that there's other silos, they immediately kill everyone in the silo. It's amazing story. Okay. That being said, it's on. Hanako's looked at me like, I don't know if I want to watch that or not.
No, because the weird thing about it is it sounds oddly familiar.
Yes, it does.
It sounds a little bit like the 100.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Very much so.
Very much so.
But only instead of teenagers, these are 35-year-olds. So, but here's my point. So you've got that show, Silo. You've got Foundation, the Isaac Asimov show. You've got a couple other post-apocalyptic shows. All of these shows are on Apple TV. Okay. They are really good shows. But the thing is, if you don't have Apple TV, if you get the channel, it's a mint to keep it up. Okay. They have weird ways that the channel works. If you're on one episode, if you don't finish the episode, it'll start playing it back again, or it'll skip an episode. I mean, the queuing is weird. Basically,
no, it's not. I've never had any problems with Apple TV.
Well, I did. So that's one of the reasons
why. What are you talking about,
like
Lorrie? What are you talking about?
Okay, I don't always go to the same channel like 2 or 3 days in a row.
Who's your internet service provider?
Verizon.
Well, you got to remember, she's all the way on the West Coast. She
should have excellent service. That's Silicon Valley out there.
Yeah.
She ain't but half an hour away.
Yeah.
Actually, right next door to it. But my thing
sounds like Lorrie's been sampling that Hyde Ashbury stuff.
No. Oh yeah. You wish.
Oh,
my thing is that
they got
I had
dispensaries on every corner out there. I heard.
They literally do. Here's the thing. My thing is that okay, I like Pluto because Pluto's very simple. But see, here's what I'm saying is that I canceled Apple TV because I was frustrated because it had these really great sci-fi shows and then they had Ted Lasso. There was really nothing in between other than sports. There's like, why am I paying all this money for this channel and there's really nothing for me to watch?
Servant.
I am not watching Jason Momoa in 1850. Sorry.
Isn't the big machine is on there? What was that show? What was that show, Michelle? The Big Door Prize. There's some good shows on there.
Let's do a panel about that show at Dragon Con.
Yes,
the Big Door Prize. Yes, I did.
And they had matching, and they had T-shirts to go along with it.
Yes, we did. My first cosplay at Dragon Con.
No,
the Big Door Prize.
my thing that actually sounds really cute. My thing is that I've been bopping around looking at different shows just to get an idea on what's going out because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike. And I was telling you guys earlier, everything on Netflix is now coming in from Europe and is being dubbed. We don't know how long this is going to last. I was checking my murder mysteries and I got so giddy because I discovered I have not one but 2 whole seasons of Father Brown. I'm like, yes, there goes my Christmas vacation right there. Whole season of Shakespeare and Hathaway, whole season of the new Jane Seymour murder mystery, a whole season of Agatha Raven, whole season of Miss Fanny Fisher. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I got stuff to watch later on. So I'm looking for sci-fi, right? Sci-fi that I haven't watched. And everything is coming in from Europe. They got that Valhalla thing on Netflix. They got a couple of things. But my thing is that with the Amazon shows, you can find them on your Roku on other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Apple TV. I love Silo. Okay. I want to watch Silo. I might want to watch Foundation, but the fact that I can't get it anywhere but the Apple TV channel, I don't like.
Yeah,
and that's why I got rid of the channel.
That's why I haven't seen Servant yet.
You can't watch Witcher anywhere else but on Netflix. What are you talking about?
You can't watch Gilded Age anywhere except for HBO Max.
It's the same thing.
Well, I never looked for Witcher for any other channels except for that because I assumed it being on Netflix, it was only going to
because Netflix has a whole bunch of shit that you want to watch, so it's worth paying the money.
Right.
So does Apple TV. Like The Morning Show is an amazing show.
I'm not watching Jennifer Aniston. I haven't watched her since Friends. I don't plan on it.
For All Mankind, Servant, The Changeling. Come on.
I heard The Changeling was good.
Is really good. Severance is really good.
Nope.
I'm sitting here looking. I'm just scrolling through. Platonic.
I pay for way too many streaming platforms as it is. I'm not adding. Yeah, I'm not adding.
I mean, I'm not suggesting you add. I'm just saying, don't sell Apple TV short.
Okay, but I'm just saying,
come around the corner to your house and watch something.
I rarely cancel a streaming service, and I cancel Apple TV, and I canceled Peacock because I'm not watching anything on Peacock. I started to watch Quantum Leap, the new one. Got half an episode in, got distracted, never went back. I have
was on the panel for
sets
Quantum
of Murder
Leap.
She Wrote in the closet, so I don't need to watch Murder She Wrote because I already have 2 sets of the DVDs. I already have the original Magnum PI. Don't need to get that again.
This is what you do, Lorrie. I want to say Loki because she has Loki on the screen. This is what you do, Lorrie.
Oh, wait a minute. I did.
You do what we all do. You subscribe for 1 month, you watch it all in a month, and then you cancel the subscription.
It's time to watch everything in a month. We don't have time to watch the stuff that we actually want to talk about on this show.
I'm just saying.
Now, I guess what my point is that even though I don't really mind the cost so much of the different streaming services, I've hit my wall when it comes to what I can watch and not watch. Okay, I'll give you another example. John Wick, okay? On Tubi, the first John Wick movie, the second John Wick movie were on there all summer long for free. Okay, finally watched the first movie. Went back to Tubi to see if I could watch the other. They were gone. Did a search on Roku. Found that they're on Amazon to rent. Okay, fine. So I have them on Amazon. Okay, so I'll give you. I'm naming a show that's not geek related, but it's a show that I'm interested in because the person on the show was basically crazy. Kiki Wyatt's new show called Kiki's World. Okay. Wanted to see what it was like. It's on the All Black Network. Okay. So in order to watch it, I would have to either subscribe to the All Black Network on YouTube or through Amazon. I got it through Amazon. Wanted to watch another show. I can't think of what it was, but it was another show. Again, they're beginning to make it where it's either you got to have this or you got to have that. Now, within Amazon, the in-house subscriptions, I have BritBox and I have Acorn, and I have All Black and I have Stars, and that's it. That's the only thing I have. I did have BET for a hot minute, and then I figured out that I wasn't going to watch anything on BET other than College Hill with the Celebrity, which I already watched. So.
Didn't the Real Husbands of Hollywood come on BET? Was that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the only
Yeah.
good show on there.
That was
Sure.
funny. It was
That
funny.
was funny.
But yeah, but my thing is that as far as cost of these streaming services, I mean, it's to the point now where if I got rid of cable years and years and years and years ago, and I'm doing the math, and I'm nowhere near where I was, but it's getting up there.
It
You know?
really is.
Yeah,
It
it's
really
creeping,
is.
and it's
And
unnecessarily
Netflix
so.
is going up again.
Yeah, yeah. Hulu went up, Netflix went up, Disney went up.
Yeah.
Now, of all the streaming services that I can say that I watch on a continuous basis, that I actually getting my money worth, is probably YouTube and Disney Plus.
See, mine is Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus. Those are the main three. And then there are like certain times of the year, like Stars. I really only have Stars for Outlander. So when Outlander goes off, I cancel the subscription because I know in a few months the new season is going to be on Netflix anyway with the rest of them. The same thing for let's see, AMC Plus. Well, now I think AMC Plus I keep because they're coming out with more and more Walking Dead content. But other than that, everything else is like it's cyclical. Like I think I got Paramount Plus earlier this year because the Teen Wolf movie was coming out, and then I realized, oh wait, I never watched the back half of the last season. I still haven't gotten around to doing that. So it's just one of those where it's like, okay, I think I paid for it this month just so I could have access to Pet Cemetery. So I was like, yeah, but yeah, you're right. It's getting to be just as much as a cable bill, except now you have it on all these different platforms. You know, the only good thing about it is I can use mine I can write mine off on my taxes because we talk about, you know, shows that are on different platforms. So I write it off as part of the business. But other than that, it's like, oh my God, do I have to get another like
Right.
We have them all because we forget to cancel them.
Oh, geez. Well, I admit I did that with Stars for a while, but I keep Stars because there's something on there, and I can't remember what it is. Plus, I like watching Black Mafia Family because I just think it's hysterical. And I've never been a Power, Ghost, Kane, whatever those things are. I don't watch those.
yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Force, whatever those things are called. I don't watch those.
Because I got we got Paramount. I got Paramount Plus really just to watch Tulsa King because
now that's a good show.
Really good.
That's a good show.
But then the Dungeons and Dragons movie came on there.
It was free for free.
Like, oh, cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Teen Wolf movie. Like I got Peacock just to watch Twisted Metal.
See, we drew the line at Peacock because we were able to do Peacock because we also have Xfinity's.
You all get it for free.
But then they changed it,
and they start charging.
Yeah, it's not included anymore. We draw the line at Peacock.
See, that's what I did too because I was getting the free version of Peacock, and then I noticed because I was doing my bills, and I was like, "Wait a minute, they charged me." And I went in, I looked, they're like, "Yeah, we're now charging." Like, well, you could have told somebody,
right?
But see, that's another thing. They sneak these charges in, like YouTube. I was on YouTube. I like watching, you know, Sherry Shepherd and all those, you know, as I'm cooking dinner, you know, just whatever shows. And then, you know, it's like, well, now you can do this, you can rent this and all that. I'm like, no, or subscribe. But see, here's the thing that made me mad. Now, I was late watching Prodigy, Star Trek Prodigy. Finally watched it, loved it. Loved it. Watched Lower Decks, loved it. What do? They renew Prodigy, okay? And then they cancel Prodigy. And then they take Prodigy completely off of Paramount. It's gone. If you didn't see it, you're out of luck. Then they say a while. They actually what they did, and Anthony, help me if I'm misremembering. They took it off, and then a week later they announced it was canceled. Now this is a kids show. Okay, it's one of that new style of animation, and it's actually really, really good. So they had second season. They're almost finished with it. They said they were canceled. They took it off. They also removed seasons 3 and 4 of Enterprise off of Paramount. and they took a few episodes of Voyager out too for some reason. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So then what they did is they said, okay, well, we're not going to move forward with the show. Now the show is also on Nickelodeon. Okay, the numbers for Prodigy were through the roof. I mean, we're talking skyrocketing numbers. Okay, but again, what happens? Toy sales. The sales for the figures were low because they didn't release them until mid-pandemic, where no one could go out and buy them. They couldn't make them, and the shipping, yada yada yada. Case in point, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago. See in the news that Netflix has now acquired Prodigy, and they're going to put Prodigy on Netflix. Here's your problem: for 6-7 years, Netflix had an exclusive deal to do nothing but Star Trek properties. I'm talking all of them that they could get for years. Last year, I think it was late last year, early this year, I can't remember when, they took everything off except for Deep Space Nine. Okay, you can't do it. CBS owns it. It's exclusively all on Paramount. Okay, so now for some reason it's okay to bring Prodigy back to Netflix. So if you can do that, you can bring everything else back to Netflix. But they won't, because they want you to pay that money to Paramount. It's frustrating.
Yeah. These streaming like, I understand why they did it at first, but it's like now it just doesn't. It's a way to get our money, because you have this on this platform, you have this on this platform, you have streaming platform only content that you can only get on this platform. So even if you pay for cable, you still can't get certain shows unless you pay for the unless you pay for the streaming app, and it's getting ridiculous.
It is very ridiculous, because I pay extra for the Xfinity package, the sports package, to have NFL Red Zone for football on Sundays, see every touchdown. Well, they don't provide it anymore on Xfinity, so I'm paying for the package, for the sports package, but I don't get Red Zone. And then a week ago, I get a thing that says, "Oh, you can watch Red Zone, but you have to watch it mobile on the Xfinity streaming app." I'm like, what sense does that make?
None.
So yeah, or if you go like Lorrie said, there's a show I want to watch. I go to the show, whatever streaming platform it is, and except Netflix. But they're like, "Oh, you can watch seasons 1, episode 7 and 8, and you can watch season 2, episodes 4 and 5.
I don't understand why
I don't understand why they do that.
But I have a friend who was talking about this online, and he was like, yeah, when you torrent, you don't have to worry about that stuff. And I'm like, I see why people do this now.
I used to do that, and I stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm resisting the urge to go back to that, because it's not right.
Yeah, but Anthony,
this is why that stuff happens. This is why people do, the torrents and onion servers, because you don't let us have access to the property. You just don't. You don't want us to buy it. They will take stuff down, and you can't even buy it.
And they'll put it back up again, like Pluto, and then the actual Roku channel. I'm watching 2 shows to follow different podcasts. I'm watching Babylon 5, and I'm watching Stargate SG1, even though I have SG1 in the closet. And I also have Babylon 5, but that's neither here nor there. So here's the thing. Watching Babylon 5, I get up to season 3, halfway point. No, I'm sorry. I got all the way to the end when they go to Zahanu. Okay? Stop watching it for a couple weeks. Go back to the Roku channel. Oh, we no longer have Babylon 5. God damn it. So a month goes by. Randomly check, it's back on. Same thing for Stargate SG1. Stargate lands on Pluto. But see, Pluto is a better choice for geeks, because Pluto shows Stargate, Star Trek, not Babylon 5. It shows a lot of the geek shows 24 hours a day on their own dedicated channel.
Is Stargate not on Netflix anymore?
Stargate SG1 is on, but not Stargate Atlantis, and not that horrible other one I won't mention.
Stargate Universe.
I was trying not to mention it.
Well, I haven't seen any of those episodes, so.
But my thing is that Roku is particularly bad. Now, one of my favorite shows, old type shows, is Bitten, which Laura Vanderhook. That's the werewolf one. It only lasted 3 seasons.
I remember that.
It's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They will keep that show on for about 3 months and then they take it off. Amazon will keep Stargate Atlantis on for 3 months, take it off for a month, bring it back on again. So I found Pluto. Pluto has everything. You want to watch The Rifleman? They got The Rifleman. You want to watch Quincy? Madlock has its own channel. I was so happy when I found that. Okay. My mom was telling me about this new thing about Peacock, and I'm not sure what it's called, but they started a service in August, and they have 2 new dedicated channels that tickled my mom to death. They have a Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman channel, which is 24 hours a day, and I'm telling you, because my mother has figured out how to use technology, she keeps sending me these links. They have a 24-hour a day Little House on the Prairie.
Oh.
And she will get up now that, my father passed. She's a widow. She's got a lot of time on her hands. My mom will get up. She's 71. She'll make her tea. Bitch says she can't have coffee anymore. She'll get ready for the day. She'll sit down and she'll watch 4 hours of Little House on the Prairie. Then she'll get up and finish her day. At night, when she gets done whatever she needs to do, she'll sit down. She'll watch 4 more hours of Little House on the Prairie. I'm like, I'll send you the DVD box set. Oh, no, it's right here on the TV. I'm fine.
Okay.
I don't know how she does it. And I love Little House on the Prairie. I mean, telling you she's averaging at least 7 hours a day. There wasn't that many episodes. But these are all she's a Peacock.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so Peacock is also one of those channels where there are certain things that you can find on it. So I do keep that on my on my TV apps, but again, all of these streaming channels, it's just getting to the point where it's becoming a lot. And then they're going up on the prices. I think Disney Plus is going up to like what, $16.99. Netflix is going up to $23.99, and then Netflix is really starting to enforce that whole no sharing passwords or no sharing accounts, because my daughter was using my Netflix account, and then I tried to sign in and it says this IP address is not registered to your household. I was like, what the fuck is this? I called her. I said, I'm so sorry, but I have to change this household because I'm the one that's paying the bill. She was like, okay. They used to give you the option of if you're traveling or like, because a lot of people were complaining. They're like, okay, my child is in school, so why can't they use the account?
Let me tell you what Hulu does.
But you want all this shit, but you don't want to pay your goddamn anyway. Go ahead, Anthony.
Let me tell you what Hulu does. So Hulu will randomly say, "Oh, you can't log in. You got to reset your password."
That pisses me off too.
I would get an email or a text from my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, people all over the place like, I can't log in. Nope, the password is still the same. Oh, it says I need to re-enter. Yeah. So they're randomly kicking people off.
Yeah.
To make it difficult for people to keep sharing the password all over the place.
Yeah. Which again, I mean, you're sitting up here, you're about to be $23.99 a month. But yeah, we still got actors on strike. But anyway, we're not even going to go into that. That's a whole other show. We have been talking for about an hour and a half, and I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. Because, I mean, you're talking to 4 huge geeks. We could probably keep this conversation going for quite a while. But
all night long.
All night.
And you caught me being chatty tonight, too. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
It's because we haven't seen each other in a while. Of course you're going to be like,
Yep. But before we leave out, what I want to do is I do want to talk about CONjuration a little bit, because that is coming up in about 3 weeks, and that is one of our big conventions of the year. I think starting last year, we started doing more panels at that convention, and we've gotten pretty chummy with the owners of that convention and some of the people who are behind the scenes, and they have asked us to come back and do some more panels. So we will be there. That is November 17th through the 19th. It has changed locations. It is at the Sonesta, I think it's called the Sonesta Gwinnett Place now. It's in Gwinnett County in Metro Atlanta. The tickets I think are still on sale, and it's like $50 for the entire weekend, which is not bad at all. We are on a combined, I think, like maybe about 14 or 15 panels for that weekend. Just to give you kind of a rundown, all three of us, we're doing our Fandom Funerals panel, which is where we talk about fictional characters and their deaths, and we talk about how those deaths impacted us as fans, and also how we can relate those to dealing with death in our real lives. We're going to do Fathers Are Worst, and then another panel, Mothers Aren't Better. We're going to talk about the shitty parents in our fiction and in our media. We will be doing a representation panel again, talking about POCs and fantasy. I have a lot to say about The Wheel of Time season 2. It's great, but I have some issues. Let's see, we're doing a Lord of the Rings panel. I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Harry Potter series on HBO with some other friends of mine. We're going to talk about what we think that's going to look like, what we hope for. Let's see, Anthony is going to be doing Harry Potter and the Deathly Penalty debate. So they're going to talk about capital punishment in the Harry Potter series. Mike is going to be doing a panel about appreciation versus appropriation, which should be very interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a whole bunch of other panels. So if you want to find out more information about the panels, or if you want to find out ticket information about CONjuration and come see us, the information is on our blog at www.fandomhybrid.com. So you'll find out all the panels, the schedule is there. We hope you guys come out to see us. But before we close out, let me ask, does anybody have a suggestion, like just one thing that you've been watching or that you've been reading that you want the fans or the listeners to check out, and something that we may talk about in the coming months? So Mike, let's start with you.
What have I been watching? We finished watching Lupin, which is like which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
We just finished watching, what was that? There's another one we were watching that was good. But basically I've been catching up on stuff like The Equalizer. I've been kind of behind on that. I watched that. I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully going towards the future, we can. I know we need to talk. We still need to talk about Miss Marvel leading up to the Marvels,
Yeah.
and hopefully I hope that we get a chance to talk about Wednesday, because that is underrated. Really, subversively, that's one of my favorite shows this year. Like I really enjoyed that show.
Okay.
I can't think of that. There was something we were watching that there was something I was watching that I can't think. Oh, The Continental. The Continental is really good too.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
we ever get a chance to get caught up on that, we should talk about that too. That's really good.
Okay, cool. Lorrie, what about you?
Star Trek Lower Decks. Lower Decks it has a little bit of some problems this year, but overall it's excellent. The main character is this black girl who his name is Mariner, and her mother is the captain of her ship, and she is the biggest screw up. But Dawn Lewis from It's a Different World plays the voice as the captain.
Oh,
And so that's pretty cool. And of course, if you watched Strange New Worlds, they did a crossover with Strange New Worlds and Lower Deck this season, and it was awesome because you got Jack Quaid, who plays one of the characters, plus the other girl, Tanya
Are
Newsom, who did live action. It was really cool. But Lower Decks is very tongue in cheek. It's very cute. It's geeky. It has a lot of basically Easter eggs. And if you just really, really want to not sleep at night, there's an episode in season 2 where they go to a world and it involves one of the robots that let's just say it's disturbing, but it's very satisfying when you watch it.
Okay, Anthony, what about you?
Let's say we already recommended The Fall of the House of Usher. If you have not seen it, please go see it now. Stop this podcast and go watch.
No. Wait till the end of the podcast. Wait till Hanako signs off and our theme music goes.
Also, if you haven't watched Ahsoka, make sure you watch that.
Watch Ahsoka.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to get to that probably during my Thanksgiving break in a couple of weeks. I just haven't had the time.
Ahsoka was so fucking good. Oh my god.
So presently for me, I have watched so much horror in the last week or so. I've been watching, if you like cooking shows, I've been watching Hell's Kitchen and watching old episodes, and I discovered that they do a Hell's Kitchen Raw. You can find on YouTube.
Ooh.
Where they do service and there's no narrator, no music, and it's only edited for time. So you get to see things that didn't air on the show.
Okay.
It is really, really good because you see a different side of Chef Ramsay. And and I'm just gonna say this, there's sometimes where if you watch the show when it aired, you'll see things build up, but they don't really show you how it builds up. But if you watch Raw, you literally see like he knows when service starts. Oh, this person is done. Like he knows from the beginning who's gonna go, and he will get in on them the whole time. It's really good. Hell's Kitchen Raw. Just pick a season, start with the first episode. Trust me, you'll love it.
Okay. Quick caveat. Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Ocean Cinco Chad Johnson. It's on YouTube. They do Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. It is hysterical.
Okay.
Those two
and I don't watch football.
Crazy.
Okay, I'm from the country. I grew up in the country, but nobody is as country as Sterling.
That's Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
Country.
Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp. Something happened. Chad Ochocinco was talking about going to the bathroom. He and his girl. Shannon and his girl or whatever. They don't use the bathroom in the master bedroom. They have to go to the other parts of the house, the other bathrooms, right? And Chad is like, "What? What are y'all doing?" And then
He broke up with her. I'm sitting there going, "The hell?"
This is gonna offend somebody, but Shannon goes, "I swear before two white men." I said, "What?"
Yeah, that's some country dude.
Country.
Just watch Nightcap.
What?
Just watch it. It's on YouTube.
Say what? No. What are you talking? And I realized I know what he meant. So I'm just saying, man, you country. You country.
Just watch Nightcap if you've got nothing else to do. It's hysterical.
It is hilarious.
All right. So I'm gonna second Anthony's suggestion about The Fall of the House of Usher. Go watch it. It is amazing. Also, since we are still kind of like right around Halloween, like I said, Halloween was last night. If you have an opportunity and you like animated tales, there is a animated version of Edgar Allan Poe's tellings, and it's called Extraordinary Tales. It's on Amazon Prime. It's been on there for a few years. It's a great, like nightcap for Halloween and for Edgar Allan Poe. Coming up, we have Gen V, which is the spinoff to The Boys. We are going to be covering that, and they just got renewed for a second season, so that will be coming up in the next few weeks. Miss Marvel comes out next week, so we will be talking about that. Invincible is finally coming back. Season 2 premieres, I believe, at the end of this week. So we will be covering that as well. If you guys who are listening, if you have any suggestions that you would like to give us to cover, or if you have any requests, let us know. You can comment on our YouTube page or on our Facebook page, or you can send us an email at fandomhybrid@gmail.com. Just let us know if there's something that you want us to cover, and we will look at that as, one of the things that we cover for next year. I'm going to close out with two things. This week in the entertainment world, we have had 2 deaths of some actors that have had a significant cultural impact on the entertainment industry. The first one is Matthew Perry, who, of course, most people know as Chandler Bing from Friends. He passed away earlier this week. And then just yesterday, Tyler Christopher, who is best known for his role as Nicholas Cassadine on General Hospital, also passed yesterday from a cardiac event. I remember being in high school in like my early 20s, watching General Hospital when his character made his debut. He was one of my favorite characters on that show. So he passed yesterday at the age of 50. I believe Matthew Perry was 52. So still relatively young. Very huge losses for the entertainment world. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Rest in peace to both of those gentlemen. And on that note, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch us on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.